Could the San Antonio Spurs have two lottery picks in this Thursday's draft? What is up, San Antonio Spurs fans? Welcome to TSR Sports. Doing something very different today. I normally don't brainstorm trade type stuff, but I saw an article this morning that really got me thinking, and I wanted to share some thoughts, my takes, and what I think could maybe happen, but also get your opinions and just maybe have a little fun and do something different on TSR Sports with the NBA draft right around the corner. While I'm going over this, drop a comment down below. Any of these trades interest you? None at all. Hit that thumbs up, like support a fellow Spurs fan, and subscribe for more Spurs content. So you see it here. Teams eyeing Jakob Poeltl's availability. So there's some caveats to this, but here's what stood out and what kind of got me thinking this morning. If our San Antonio Spurs selected any center in the first round, such as Jalen Duren, Mark Williams, or Walker Kessler, and I think if we're going to take a center in the first round, it would be Jalen Duren at the number 9th pick. I know some of you are for that, some against. In the end, it's up to the Spurs. Anyway, if they took a center, the phone would be ringing often with rival teams checking in on the availability of starting center Jakob Poeltl, who's entering the final year of his contract at $9.4 million. It got me thinking just for a second. By the way, there's a blurb here about the Wizards wanting a proven point guard. DeJounte Murray's not getting traded. Next. Anyway, so if the Spurs took Jalen Duren, we draft him 9th overall. I don't want to say Jakob Poeltl's expendable, but he has excellent trade value right now. He's playing very well. His contract is very friendly for at least this year. It is up next year. Could the Spurs say, you know what? Let's try to get something for him instead of possibly nothing, which we have done. See Marcus Aldridge. So could they trade Jakob Poeltl if we take Duren and maybe the 20th and 25th pick, or maybe Jakob and Josh Richardson, who's proved a very valuable asset and could help a team that's making a playoff push? Thinks they have enough to make a playoff push, and they maybe just had some injuries holding them back this season, and get another lottery pick. So Jakob, J. Rich, our 20th pick, or our 20th and 25th plus Jakob for 12, 13, 14, and maybe draft Jeremy Sohan? He's been mocked anywhere between 9 and 15, so he could be available. And I just kind of thought, like, you know what? Would that be better for the team? Granted, this could mean the starting lineup would have two rookies, but maybe you just risk it for the biscuit. And our starting lineup would be DeJounte Murray, Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sohan, and Jalen Duren. And I guess the big question I have is, do you think that would be a defensive upgrade? I think it would be. I think the 4 spot is where we're desperately hurting for defense. I think Jalen Duren's going to have, obviously, his issues transitioning from college to the NBA, just like Jeremy probably will as well. But I think he could at least be the rim protector and maybe a better rebounder than Jakob. Maybe give us a little more offense since he is an amazing finisher at the rim. Looking at this lineup, I'm like, you know what? Maybe that could work. And by the way, I like Jakob Poeltl. People think, some folks are like, man, why do you hate on Jakob so much? I'm like, I don't hate him. I'm just looking, long term, is he the guy to help us get to the next level? And I think he's hit his ceiling, and it's a very good ceiling, especially for his contract. But I don't know. Something in my guts. And maybe I'm spoiled as a Spurs fan, having David Robinson, one of the greatest centers of all time, Tim Duncan, greatest power forward of all time, having just big men that were elite. So maybe truthfully, expectations are maybe too high for Jakob Poeltl. I'm looking for a guy that can drop 20 plus a night on any given night and grab 10 plus rebounds, and he's not that guy. He does a lot of great things that don't show up in the box score. And for like contesting shots isn't a stat that you see on Basketball Reference. It's not a normal stat you track, but I believe he was up there in the league leaders for that. You just kind of look at blocks and say, oh, he's only 2 blocks or less a game. He's not really contributing in that area, but he is. It's just maybe not showing in the box score where you're looking. Anyway, long-winded Jakob explanation there. I am rooting for Jakob, and if he stays on the team, obviously I'll continue to root for him. Anyway, circling back here, would you want a move like that? If the Spurs could pull it off and everything fell in line, would you be willing to give up Jakob Poeltl, let's say Jakob, Josh Richardson, and the 20th overall pick to squeeze into the lottery? Somebody else has 2 picks. Who is it that has 2 picks, like 13 and 15? There's another team that has 2 lottery picks right around that area. But there's a lot of teams that look like they're willing to trade back to the Portland Trailblazers. And would you be willing to give up Jakob J. Rich and one of our late first rounders, maybe both first rounders, 20th and 25? As I've already mentioned, we need to cut our roster down in the video I did yesterday to maybe draft a Jalen Duren and a Jeremy Sohan. Or maybe you're one of those folks that go, you know what? I'm not a Jalen Duren guy, Rich. I don't want him. Okay, all right. There's another scenario that I want to take a look at. Unfortunately, the NBA draft is before free agency, but let's say the Spurs have their sights locked on DeAndre Ayton and think they could legitimately sign DeAndre Ayton. And We still trade Jakob Pertl. You're not going to have Jakob Pertl and DeAndre Ayton on the same team. It makes no sense. Both guys are starters. One's going to go, and it's going to be the guy that's leaving his contract, not suppose the guy that would be coming in. So say you trade Jakob Pertl and 2 picks again, and you have another lottery pick. Maybe you move down and draft whatever it be. Maybe you draft Jeremy Sohan and Johnny Davis. Now, signing DeAndre Ayton guarantees Lonnie Walker's not staying with the team, but if you're drafting Johnny Davis, you're probably not keeping him anyway. And then the starting lineup would be something maybe like DeJounte Murray, Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson. I think those three pretty much set right there. You start Jeremy Sohan at the 4, DeAndre Ayton at the 5, and maybe Johnny Davis is your 6th man off the bench this year as a rookie. This is what's tough about our San Antonio Spurs. Are there so many things that could happen before draft night and in free agency? They have 4 picks right now. If you watched my video yesterday, you can see the issues with the roster size we have that we just can't really, it's not going to be a good idea to draft 4 players because that means we're going to be cutting a lot more of our guys than maybe we want to. It also means that we're limited on any free agents we can get. There's just a lot of issues with the roster limit right now. So I just want to do a video today, just something a little different on a Sunday where I'm just brainstorming trades and maybe hear from you guys. Drop a comment. What trade has popped in your head, maybe that you haven't seen online, or a trade you have seen online that you're like, man, that works out great for the Spurs. That works out for the great team that they're trading with, and I like this move, and I think it helps both teams. I do think there's a shot that we have 2 lottery picks. I do. Is it likely? Maybe not. But if teams, and it's mentioned here actually, let me just go down in the article a little bit. Let me take down these 2 gentlemen here. As we scroll down, the reason I'm also brainstorming this is the Wizards are open to trading their number 10 overall pick in the quest for a proven point guard. That's out. But Portland Trailblazers, Pelicans are looking to maybe drop out of the top 10. I think there's a chance, maybe, just maybe, and it's going to cost us. I think it's going to cost us Jakob Pertl and some other assets like a draft pick and maybe another player. But would you be willing to give up in the end? This is the final question, I guess. Would you be willing to give up Jakob Pertl, maybe a Josh Richardson, and the 20th pick or the 25th pick to get another lottery pick? Me personally, I really, I'm not. Now, I just throw it out there. I would be very happy the Spurs drafted Jalen Duren. I would be very happy the Spurs drafted Jeremy Sohan. I feel like those are 2 players that could help us in some areas we need help. But if we're able to get both, yes, it would be at expense at turtle power and the Thunder dunks of justice when they happen. But I'm looking more long term, and who knows? Maybe they shock us and they trade a different player like a Keldon Johnson or Devin Vassell to get back in the lottery. I seriously doubt either of them. But you never know, and it's gonna be a fun and crazy week. No matter what happens, I think the Spurs will make a move before June 23rd. What that move is, I have no idea. For once, I'm totally clueless on what they're gonna do. Usually, I feel like our team's we kind of get a good idea. Well, no, Lucas Amorous threw me off. Joshua Primo threw me off. Yeah, they're predictably unpredictable. That's all I got. Hope you're having a great Sunday. Happy Father's Day to any of the fathers out there. And as always, go Spurs, go!